Can everybody hear me okay? All right, my name is Barrett Wynn, and I'm a junior at the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I'm genuinely proud to be standing here today in front of a crowd of this size because it means we have not lost any momentum. The push for gun control is stronger than ever, and we haven't let our latest tragedy fade from the public's view like we have before. However, we need to acknowledge that this problem is still a long way from being fixed. Just this past Tuesday, a gunman opened fire in Great Mills High School, wounding 2 students, one of whom died Thursday night. I won't just say thoughts and prayers, but my heart goes out to her family. This issue cannot be ignored any longer, especially now that it's become apparent that violence of this nature can erupt anywhere. Guns continue to pose a threat to American men, women, and children of all ages. I implore legislators and executives at every level of government across the nation to take notice and to heed our calls. And should they fail to do so, we will not hesitate to remove you from office. For too long, men and women of all ages, ethnicities, creeds, and religions have become indiscriminate victims, and scores of children have had to face premature death so that sports shooters and would-be militants can maintain military-grade rifles under flimsy pretexts surrounding sports shooting and militant organization. For too long, NRA lobbyists have protected these practices and paid our elected officials to ignore the suffering of the American people. For too long, blood has been spilled in our workplaces, institutions, and our neighborhoods, and our representatives offer nothing in return except thoughts and prayers. For too long, students have had to fear for their lives while trying to exercise their inherent right to an education. For too long, they've had to ask themselves how long it'll be before it happens at their school. And for too long, they've had to wonder where they'll run to, who will survive, and what they'd be willing to do to protect their classmates. For too long, parents have had to bury children, children have had to bury friends, and friends have had to consider the possibility that they can be taken away from each other at a moment's notice, regardless of time, place, or circumstance. All is not lost, though. We as a people, as a movement, and as a force have made enough noise on this issue, and the world is taking notice. Our representatives are listening, and our front is united. Today, we as a people have come together to take matters into our own hands and to say that we will not accommodate these issues any longer. We will not spend another day living in fear of a shooting. We will no longer sit by and let the cries of the survivors be stifled by NRA donations. We are the change that we have needed, wanted, and deserved. By joining together, we send a message to our nation, and it is a message that will resound clearly and loudly in every state, city, and legislative body. And that message is, we will not go away. We will not give up this fight, and we will not accept anything other than that which we are owed, the right to live without fear. I don't have much time left, but I hate to complain about a problem without offering solutions, so I'd like to introduce a quick, short list of starting points for legislation. I call for a ban on assault-style rifles. I call for the government to mandate safety training and licensing for gun owners, as well as regular psychiatric checks. I call for them to strengthen our background checks and impose regulations on the gun show loophole. I call on our government to ban high-capacity magazines and other military-grade attachments. I call for investment in community resources to help prevent the development of shooters and other potential mass killers. And lastly, I call on our president to follow through on his promise to ban bump stocks. And with my closing thought, I'd like to thank y'all for coming out. Let's go out and change the world.